Welcome to the shooting show. This week we look at Ely's newest steel shot loads on exciting goose hunts north and south of the border. Plus Byron reviews the Apex Predator, the latest bit of kit to hit the stalking market that's created a real buzz. This week I'm back at my regular flight pond in East Yorkshire, and today Goose is on the cards too. After my American antics last week, it's a chance for some much needed British sport and the perfect opportunity to test out the new Ely lightning steel loads. The pond has been well fed and the evening flight is not far away. There's only one problem. It's been raining solidly for the past week and the number of birds coming in to feed will be way down due to the numerous splashes available elsewhere. But as seasoned Yorkshiremen, Shep and I are used to bad weather. It's time to get wet and get the decoys out. We've brought several dozen decoys of all types, from pintail to widgeon and the ubiquitous mallard. It doesn't take us long to get into the swing of things, and the deeks are soon flying from all directions, as we enjoy ourselves a little more than men of our age really should.
There.
By the time our pond life tableau is complete, the light's already fading and it's time to prepare for an evening full of sport. Well, hopefully. The hour is upon us, and who better to show me what the new Ely loads can do than Ely Hawk's finest, Tomas Atienza. When the hide itself is submerged, you know conditions are really bad, and I'm not promising Tomas anything, but we're not giving up just yet. Let's see what the evening holds. So Thomas, we're in a very wet Yorkshire, I'm afraid. We've been feeding this pond for a while. We've only shot it once this year and the results were fantastic. It's a good night, windy night. There's a lot of water out there for the ducks to go on. We're here to try out the new Ely Steel Shot cartridges. If
Absolutely.
You'd like to tell me a little bit about Ely Steel Shot, please.
Well, basically, we saw an opportunity a few months ago that the non-lead alternative market wasn't covered properly. The only product that Ely was making at the time was bismuth, the non-toxic or non-lead alternative. So we thought that it would be a very good opportunity to launch something into the market in conjunction with a brand new powder which is called SSP 150, which is especially developed for the steel loads. Therefore, even though we were making just one load called VIP Steel Game, we thought that we needed to give something more to the shooters, a bit more speed, a bit more oomph. Therefore, we developed the high performance and the high performance lightning, which is 1600 feet per second or 510 meters per second. Therefore, it is a very fast load, and we believe that it will actually give the shooter what they'll be looking for. We can achieve them velocities with very low pressures. Even though it's a non-CIP load, because of the speed, the pressures are well below standards.
I mean, I think steel shot now has been accepted by more and more wildfowlers, and there's been a lot more investment in the steel shot market.
It is. Don't forget that a few years ago the only alternatives were bismuth and tungsten matrix or heavy shot. Unfortunately, the metal market, I've seen a very high increase on the bismuth. Within a year, we saw the price going up 10 times, and with tungsten it happened exactly the same. This meant that the shooters couldn't afford these cartridges anymore. So that's when the steel alternative came into place. A while ago, a few years ago, the steel shot wasn't very good, was very hard, and the powders were not prepared to take these loads. Therefore, we didn't want to jump straight away. We want to take our time and make sure that our research and development team in Spain developed the powders properly, that we found the proper suppliers for CIP steel shot, because that's the only shot that we use. Perfect CIP soft steel.
Well, let's see if we shoot some ducks tonight.
Fingers crossed.
We settle in for what could be a very long wait. Shep joins us as the sun slips below the horizon. Things are eerily quiet in East Yorkshire tonight. We wait and wait. Unlike the weather, the local duck population has completely dried up, it seems. The light fails and we have to switch on the infrared with nothing to show for our efforts so far. There's a full moon and normally tonight would be perfect, but it appears the bad weather really has taken its toll. Just when we think we'll be drawing a blank, a lone bird comes in to feed and Tomas takes his chance. It's not a duck, but a goose. I'm the unlucky one who has to wade in to retrieve it, but at least the evening hasn't been a complete loss. Well, for Tomas anyway.
There you go, Tomas.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's the end of 2.5 hours freezing up to our knees in icy cold water. Unfortunately, due to all the floods, the water, standing water around us, no ducks came in tonight. We did hear one mallard and that was about it, but he thought better of coming in. Thankfully, Tomas managed to get one grey-lag goose. Did savour as having a blank there, and that was with 32 gram 5s, lightning steel. Absolutely fantastic. Came down dead as a proverbial nit.
Let's see if the wildfowlers are having more luck north of the border. David Virtue and his team will be bringing geese into decoys on a morning flight.
Back of the pattern, and it's just a bit of flapping.
Well before first light, the goose decoys are in position. There's not been too much moonlight, and unlike in Yorkshire, it hasn't been a monsoon for the past week. With any luck, the geese will come in eagerly to feed as the sun rises.
Just keep them on the move. Don't let them settle in there. Okay.
It's not long until they get a first sighting. Now calling can begin in earnest, but the geese are still a long way away. In contrast to our lonely evening in Yorkshire, there are many skeins of geese out here in the Scottish borders. There's been no action as yet, but as the sun comes up, the team's chances can only get better. Lying in wait, the boys spot a skein of 18 coming in from the right. With 4 geese down, it's a good start, and the boys barely have time to reload before another few geese come in. They're going for a repeat of the first flight, but it all goes badly wrong. We can all miss birds, but that thought doesn't lessen the disappointment. Let's hope they can do better on the next incoming skein. That's more like it, with another goose down, and the fallen birds act as lifelike decoys to bring yet more in. This skein takes the team by surprise, but we still manage to get it on camera.
What is it that's bringing the geese into these particular fields?
I think this field was a grass field that was just sown last year, and I think there's maybe a sweetness or something in the grass there. I mean, they generally come into this area January every year, so I know roughly they've got to be back in this area in January, and you know, but there's 2 or 3 fields in this area, and they generally will be in here this time every year, especially if you get a touch of frost, and they'll go to the grass then. But I think that field was sown just last year, and that probably a sweetness in there. So yeah, they'll probably be back in there before the end of the month again.
And in terms of species, what do you expect to bump into?
We can shoot all species really. Well, like we have in the last couple of days, we've shot pinkfeet, greylag in Canada. And they'll go down onto the English side there a bit as well, and they'll shoot white fronts from time to time as well, and they're just on the English side. So.
And when we were watching them come in, some of them were coming in from a long way away. Are these geese coming from the coast, or is it splashes around or lochs?
These ones yesterday were mostly all coming off of lochs and splashes and floods. I would say they were coming from several different directions, and some of them were possibly coming 10-15 miles but some of them were closer. You know, well, it was parked up in the morning, we could hear some of the splash just on the other side of the road, which was half a mile away. But yeah, as I say, this year there's been a lot of water everywhere, and geese are just dispersed for miles and miles and miles. They sometimes all come in to feed in the same bit, but they're going out at night 10, 15, 20 miles.
There's just time left to pick up the fallen geese and head back to base. We'll be seeing more fouling action from David Virtue soon. That's some hot shooting from the boys there and a chilly Scottish goose shooting outing. And now, the Shooting Show News.
This is the Shooting Show News. Shooters face dangerously long waits to have licence applications approved in some areas of the country, the BBC has said. According to a Freedom of Information request, Hampshire Police took an average of 5 months to process applications last year, and there was a backlog of 13,000 licences. This meant many certificates expired before their renewals were processed, so gun owners were forced to put their guns into storage. Police are warning shooters to keep an eye on their gun dogs after thefts of working dogs rocketed. After changes in the law made it a criminal offence to pay cash for scrap metal, it appears dogs are the new target of choice for criminal gangs. One kennel in Sussex saw 7 dogs taken in 2 incidents just days apart. For the full story, see the front page of February's Modern Gamekeeping. Northern Irish politicians have set up an all-party group for the shooting sports. The group, stewarded by Basque Northern Ireland, aims to develop, foster, promote and protect country sports, and recognise the benefits they provide to the economy and the environment. More than 20 elected members agreed to join the group, which should provide Northern Irish shooters with some much needed political support. Tomorrow is D-Day for the RSPCA, as a parliamentary debate will take place on its controversial prosecutions. The debate, the first of its kind, will establish whether the charity is conflicted by the political and commercial interest it takes in prosecuting groups such as the Haythrop Hunt. Simon Hart MP, chairman of the Countryside Alliance, said the RSPCA did good work, but was compromised at the top by an animal rights-based agenda. And finally, the government has now agreed to provide funding for the National Wildlife Crime Unit and secure its future for another year. The Shooting Show reported last week that its future was in doubt, but DEFRA and the Home Office have now provided the £136,000 necessary to save the unit. In 2012, the NWCU was directly involved in exposing 175 cases of rhino horn trafficking. Basque welcomed the confirmation of continued funding. That was the Shooting Show News.
Today I'm testing the new Apex Predator, a utility waste bag made for hunting by Napier. I'll be taking it with me out in the field and showing you the functionality of this innovative product. Fitting around the waist, it's designed with grip tabs to secure it to you while climbing or crawling. The comfortable positioning makes you almost forget it's there, while the fact it sits low on your waist prevents it getting in the way while carrying your rifle. It has been designed to take most hunting gear, including 2 full-sized S-hooks to aid carcass preparation in the field. For the utility belt's later transformation, you must remember to store the shoulder strap somewhere. There's plenty of storage space in these compartments. The main pocket is the widest, allowing it to fold over you as you move around. Here you can store kit such as knives and butt-outs horizontally. As well as the useful S-hooks, side pockets can be used to store other essentials such as first aid kits. The drawstring compartment is easily accessible at any time when worn on the front, and particularly useful for puffers. The Apex Predator's flexible and easy folding construction makes it a breeze to take with you on a stalk, and with the soft text finish, it is silent while stalking, even when moving through foliage. Even crawling into a shooting position is no trouble at all. Now it's time for the business end of things, finding out what it's capable of when you've shot a deer. In this case, it's a roe, which is about the largest creature the Apex Predator will take. It's down, and this is where the apex predator really comes into its own. It's time for this waste bag to become a row sack. Undoing the bottom clips allows the bag to fold out, where the two folded corners are then unclipped. This reveals a full-size sack to take any species of small deer. Fitting the shoulder strap, first locate the bottom two corners before fixing to the top D-ring. It is important to note that the closing strap is attached to the same ring. This system gives the sack its strength when holding game, spreading the load from the front to the back. The straps are easily adjustable for a comfortable fit. Napier supplies the product with two waterproof, easily washable liners, allowing one to be dried while the other is in use. These just pop into place, it's as easy as that. The drawstring top can be done up tightly, helping to minimise the hunter's exposure to parasites and the carcass exposure to flies. On this occasion I left the row's hind feet sticking out, but they could have easily been tucked in and the sack closed almost completely. That's quite literally the deer in the bag, and a carcass extraction as easy as you could wish for.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. We're out every Monday, 7:30 PM UK time. This is The Shooting Show.